Hi, welcome to our Tasting from Home. I'm JP, your host with French Country Wine. Every month we put together a 6-pack of wine and we offer a little bit of guidance for your tasting. So let's get started. Our first wine this month is our Chasselas from Les Vignobles Ruhlmann-Schutz. This is the Chasselas 2017. This is a white wine from Alsace. I kind of like to share a map first, and we have on the left-hand corner, we have our map of France, and we can, Alsace is on the eastern part of France, bordering Germany. The vineyards are in Dambarc-la-Ville, which is a little bit north of Célestat. Marthe Ruhlmann is our matriarch. She and her husband started the vineyards, and when her husband passed in the early 90s, her son André Ruhlmann and son-in-law Jean-Victor Schutz came to help with the vines, and they created the Ruhlmann-Schutz vineyards. Since then, it has grown to close to 60 hectares. We have the whole family here with the kids. Jean-Jacques Émile Ruhlmann, just like his father, is taking over the winemaking. And Antoine Schutz is in charge of developing sales abroad. The Chasselas is a grape that is fairly widely planted in Switzerland, but it almost vanished from the Alsatian vineyards. And it was important to Ruhlmann-Schutz to kind of revitalize that grape and show the amazing potential that it has. It's a medium-bodied, well-balanced wine, and that has a tendency, if not harvested at the right time, to give out wines that are fairly bland and interesting. But in this case, as you can see, this is definitely not the case. We have a little video showing the overall estate of the Ruhlmann-Schutz, and I'll show it to you right now.
Depuis 1688, le domaine Ruhlmann s'est agrandi de génération en génération. Mais à partir de 1994, l'association des familles Ruhlmann et Schutz a permis une véritable accélération du développement du domaine. Des coteaux oubliés ont été valorisés, de nouvelles vinifications explorées et l'entreprise est partie à la conquête de marchés lointains.
Cette expansion s'est faite tout à fait naturellement et c'est grâce à notre association avec mon beau-frère qui est vraiment le technicien de la vigne, le vigneron, et moi-même, ancien banquier, qui a réussi à amener le commercial et le côté financier à l'entreprise qui a permis ce développement qui nous a amené à ce stade aujourd'hui.
Le vignoble exploité en Alsace est passé de 7 hectares en 1993 à 38 aujourd'hui. Sur la même période, les ventes de vin sont passées de 60 000 bouteilles en 1993 à 1 300 000. Cette dynamique commerciale positionne actuellement l'entreprise au 18e metteur en marché de vin d'Alsace avec une forte présence à l'export.
En matière d'investissement, nous avons investi autant dans le vignoble pour arriver aujourd'hui à notre dimension de 38 hectares de vignes, autant dans les bâtiments, l'outil de vinification, cuverie, équipement d'embouteillage, et ceci passé par l'embauche d'une équipe commerciale, dont une personne sur le régional et une personne qui s'occupe que de l'export.
Malgré cette évolution intensive, le no-tourisme, facteur de communication et d'image, n'a pas été oublié. En effet, les exploitants ont développé parallèlement 4 chambres d'hôtes, lancé l'exploitation d'un train touristique et ouvert une boutique de vins et produits régionaux.
Nous avons été précurseurs dans le domaine de l'onotourisme grâce à notre petit train touristique nous accueillons des groupes pour faire découvrir dans Vaclaville sa cité, son vignoble. Ensuite, nous les accueillons ici dans notre cave pour leur faire découvrir notre gamme de vins d'Alsace. Et par la suite, ils peuvent repartir avec un petit cadeau issu de produits régionaux, souvenirs et produits de terroir.
Toujours dans une optique de diversification, les exploitants viennent aussi de faire l'acquisition d'un domaine de 30 hectares de vignes dans le Languedoc, et ceci afin d'élargir leur gamme de produits.
Nous avons également investi dans le sud, notamment dans les Corbières, pour des raisons précises, pour se diversifier, justement pour compléter notre gamme de vins d'Alsace, et également pour la nouvelle génération qui est en train de se mettre en place, notamment mon fils et le neveu Antoine.
À travers la complémentarité de ces deux dirigeants, une volonté forte d'innovation et de diversification et une motivation à toute épreuve, le domaine Ruhlmann peut envisager l'avenir avec beaucoup de sérénité.
Second wine this month is a Muscadet from the Loire Valley. Many people are not familiar with Muscadet. Muscadet is a grape, and it's grown in the Loire Valley, a little bit south of Paris, about 2 hours south of Paris. We have Nantes, and it is just on the eastern part of Nantes. And the particularity of Muscadet, it's first of all, its original name Melon de Bourgogne, and as the name indicates, it originates from Burgundy. Now it's only grown in Muscadet, and it was pretty much uprooted in the early 1700s, and then there was a big frost, and they needed some grapes that were more resistant to frost. And there was a revival of the varietal, and the region was replanted with Muscadet and has thrived since then. It's also gone in the US, but Muscadet the name Muscadet is not allowed, and it's only known as either Melon de Bourgogne or simply Melon. The particularity of Muscadet, it's fairly dry, lots of minerality. And Muscadet is very different from the grape Muscat. These are two different grapes. Muscat tends to be a little bit sweeter wines, and in this case, the Muscadet or Melon de Bourgogne is the ideal wine and is drunk in France, for example, with oysters and other shellfish. Do I have a little video from Ménard-Gaborit explaining the domaine?
Je m'appelle Maxime Lavolée, je suis responsable commercial France et export au domaine Ménard-Gaborit. Le domaine Ménard-Gaborit, c'est un domaine familial qui est géré par deux frères, Philippe et Thierry Ménard. Une exploitation qui fait une 60aine d'hectares dans le cœur du Muscadet-Sévrémen, sur la commune de Monnières. C'est une localité où on trouve un sol assez spécifique, donc des roches, des sous-sols argilo-siliceux très traditionnels qu'on retrouve dans le Muscadet, mais surtout spécifiquement des roches-mères qui s'appellent du gneiss et qui vont donner justement au Muscadet, conférer des propriétés aromatiques peut-être un peu plus développées, un peu plus sur le fruit, un peu plus sur la rondeur. Le domaine est certifié en agriculture raisonnée depuis une quinzaine d'années déjà. Nous sommes aussi certifiés en HVE échelon 3. Et depuis le début de l'année dernière, nous avons entamé une conversion au bio pour une 20aine d'hectares des parcelles du domaine. La gamme du domaine se décline en trois parties. Nous avons la gamme Méganum, en fait, qui est vraiment les muscadets haut de gamme, qui sont des muscadets qui vont être élevés sur lit pendant 2-3 ans, donc vraiment des très beaux vins. La gamme Mégali, donc c'est les muscadets Sévrémen sur lit, c'est vraiment le cœur de notre gamme, c'est le cœur de notre métier, c'est notre spécificité. Et la troisième gamme, qui s'appelle la gamme Oméga, qui sont nos vins de pays, donc les IGP du Val-de-Loire, que l'on retrouve en 3 couleurs. Alors aujourd'hui, l'export fonctionne sur ces marchés historiques, toujours. Ils sont tirés par le Royaume-Uni, par l'Amérique du Nord, par l'Allemagne, marchés sur lesquels nous sommes présents, puisque nous avons entamé les démarches export il y a 3-4 ans maintenant, donc c'est des choses qui prennent du temps. Mais malgré tout, on n'est pas que sur ces pays-là. Nous avons des prospects et des clients en Amérique du Sud, en Asie, au Japon par exemple, et à Taïwan. Donc voilà, partout où le muscadet ou le bon muscadet peut être demandé, on répondra présent.
Our third white wine of this month is our favorite Sancerre from Domaine Franck Millet. Most of you are very familiar with the appellation Sancerre, and several of you, I'm sure, have tasted the Franck Millet. This is their 2019 vintage. So Sancerre is from the Loire Valley as well, 2 hours, I guess, south of Paris. It's further east, though. It's on the eastern part of the appellation. This is Betty and Franck. They took over family vineyards in the 80s and have grown the exploitation from 7 hectares at the time to now more than 23 hectares. They obviously grow Sauvignon Blanc because Sancerre is 100% Sauvignon Blanc, but they also grow some Pinot Noir for their red and rosé. The characteristic of Sancerre is that beautiful minerality that it has, and a lot of it has to do with the clay and limestone soil. And this is definitely a classic Sancerre. There's no malolactic fermentation or barrel aging on it. It's strictly stainless steel. We do really well with it, and get a good amount of their production. I'll show you a little bit video that they sent us from their 2020 harvest that has been done by their daughter, put together by their daughter. Enjoy.
Been reading books of old, the legends and the myths, Achilles and his gold, Hercules and his gifts, and Spider-Man's control, and Batman with his fists. And clearly I don't see myself upon that list. But she said, where'd you wanna go? How much you wanna risk? I'm not looking for somebody with some superhuman gifts, some superhero, some fairy tale bliss. Just something I can turn to, somebody I can kiss. I want something just like this. Oh, I want something just like this. Oh, I want something just like this. I want something just like this. I've been reading books of old, the legends and the myths, the testaments they told, the moon and its eclipse, and Superman unrolls a suit before he lived. But I'm not the kind of person that it fits. She said, where'd you wanna go? How much you wanna risk? I'm not looking for somebody with some superhuman gifts, some superhero, some fairy tale bliss. Just something I can turn to, somebody I can miss. I want something just like this. I want something just like this. Oh, I want something just like this. Oh, I want something just like this. Where'd you wanna go? How much you wanna risk? I'm not looking for somebody with some superhuman gifts, some superhero, some fairy tale bliss. Just something I can turn safe and sound. I can lift you up. I can show you what you want to see and take you where you want to be. You could be my love. Even if the sky is falling down, I know that we'll be safe and sound. We're 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 safe and I used to roll the dice, feel the fear in my enemy's eyes, listen as the crowd would sing. Now the old king is dead, long live the king. One minute I held the key, next the walls were closed on me, and I discovered that my castle stand upon pillars of salt and pillars of sand. I hear Jerusalem bells are ringing, Roman cavalry choirs are singing. Be my mirror, my sword and shield, my missionaries in a foreign field. For some reason.
First read this month is from Domaine Gayrard, and it's a grape or varietal that you might not be familiar with because it's 100% Braucol. This is a Braucol 2017. Now, they are located in the southwest wine region, so a little bit due southeast of Bordeaux. They're in Gaillac, and these are known as the wines of the Southwest. Pierre Fabre and Laure Fabre are the owners of the vineyard, and they tend to own with a small team, as you can see. They are certified organic since 2016, in biodynamic since 2019. They have about 30 hectares of vine, but 60 hectares of woodland and cereal. Actually, when they took over the family land in 2013, it was nothing but cereal. They decided to replant vines that had been planted previously in previous generations. And they decided to concentrate on ancestral varietals. So just like the Braucol, but they also grow Prunelard, Duras, a white varietal called Loin de l'Oeil. Braucol is better known as Père. Servando, Pinot, Mansois, or other types. It's as I explained, an ancestral grape of the Southwest and more than likely indigenous to the area. Characteristics of currants and red fruits, some soft tannins, concentration of fruits. As you can see, it's a really great wine that can be enjoyed with barbecue, but also pasta, pizzas. And I have Pierre that is going to tell us a little bit about his vineyards and the mission. We'll let him talk.
Hello there, I'm Pierre from Domaine Gayrard. I propose you today a little presentation of our domain, history and way of farming. So the Domaine Gayrard is born 5 centuries ago in this place called Capendu, so on the land of the family Gayrard. After the Second World War, my grandpa Maurice was one of the first guys in the appellation to bottle wines, and at this time it was white sparkling, made with Mosaic, a grape variety from our location. So we are located in Gaillac, which is an appellation located in the southwest of France. My wife and I came back on the domain in 2013 and restarted the bottling production at this time. So we are quite a young vineyard, and we are producing something like 40,000 bottles today. Our domain actually counts 30 hectares of vines, some truffle trees and olive trees. We have a total amount of 60 hectares just around the property, around me. So you can see the houses of the village and of course the vines. We are making organic farming since 2016, and we started with biodynamic methods 2 years ago too. So we try to work the ground as less as possible to maintain as much life we can in the soil, in the vines, and in the surroundings of our fields. So as you can see, so we have mostly Gaillac variety wines that are Loin de l'Oeil for the whites, Mozac for whites too, and some Braucol or Duras. So it's all typical grape varieties from Gaillac that we only find in our location. So 80% of our vines are made of this typical stuff. And we try to make authentical and typical wines of Gaillac with these varieties. So we make mostly variety wines. So we are here in a field of young Loin de l'Oeil. So this one is 7 years old. So on this one we make some cordon pruning. So it's a way of pruning. So as you can see, we maintain 2 arms on the vine, and on each arm we keep 2 buds. You see, a bud that will make some new branches, and then of course grapes. We try to make some protecting pruning to avoid disease on the vines. Of course, because it's organic, we do not use any pesticide or chemical. We only work the ground with mechanic tools or by hand, depending on the moment and on the problem we can have. So I propose you now a little tour of the winery and our location. So this is the old facility of my grandpa, and so today we make the wine in our new winery that we built in 2015. So we make most of the reds in concrete tanks. So we have these concrete tanks. So the grapes are coming from the top up here and then fall down directly into the tank, and then starts the maceration and fermentation. And when the fermentation is over, we make a maceration, and the length depends on the kind of wine we would like to make. So we mostly make quite short fermentation to get fruity wines. So as you can see, it's our Braucol 20 that is aging here. Here are some Gamay and some other stuff. So the whites and rosé are made in steel tanks. So I make you a quick visit of the location. So we have here another part of the winery. So only for white and rosé with steel tanks with the cooling system on it every time, so that we can control the temperature with this. So when the fermentation is done, starts the aging. So some of our wines are aged in tanks, but some of them are aged in cask. So we are here in the place where we age some of our wines. So we have just behind me a foudre, so a big one, where in what we make some the Loin de l'Oeil. So it's a local grape variety. So we age it for 12 months in there. So it ferments first in it, and then aged for 12 months on lees. So a part of it is in the food, and another part of it is made in casks like this. So we made in 2020 a new wine. It's an orange that we decided to age in amphora, as you can see here. And so on the left, all the other casks of Loin de l'Oeil, which is still there for 12 months, as I said. And on the left here, so some reds are aged in casks too. So this is our cuvée Point du Jour. It will be aged for 16 months in there, and then 6 more months in concrete tank. I forgot to say that because we are in biodynamics, we do not use any added yeast here, so it's only on natural yeasts, and we add only very low amounts of sulfur to protect the grapes and the wines. We harvest 80% of our vines by hand, so that we can control the quality of the grapes, maturity, and avoid moisture or any disease. In that way, we have very clean grapes in the winery and zero problem of quality control in the wine. So it allows us to use only a very, very low amount of sulfur in our wines.
Second red this month from Domaine Font-Sane in southern Rhône. This is the Côtes-du-Ventoux Vieille Vigne, old vines. Southern Rhône is right here in the pink, just above Avignon. Particularly of southern Rhône wines is that they are usually Grenache based, and that is the case on this Côtes-du-Ventoux. So as you can see, the Côtes-du-Ventoux is east of the southern Rhône. It's right before you get to Provence. We have the family here, Bernard, Romain, Véronique. Véronique Canty is the winemaker. Romain, a son, is slowly taking over.
Hello everyone, I'm Roman from the Domaine de Font-Sane. So today I'm going to tell you more about the Domaine, the family, and our different wines. So actually we are one family estate and we have vines since 1860. Before we used to bring our grapes to the cooperative cellar, but in the beginning of the 80s, my mom ended her studies and she created the estate with my grandparents. And as my grandparents are now retired, I work with my parents since 2013. My mother makes the wine, so she's the winemaker. My dad works in the vineyard, and I am in charge of the business sector. Our estate is based in the southern Rhône Valley, in the small village of Gigondas. And Gigondas is one of the controlled designation of origin, which is a French certification granted for exceptional wines, based on the concept of terroir, which is a form of geographic protectionism. We have 16 hectares, so 12 in Gigondas and 4 in Ventoux, which is another designation situated at the foothills of the Mont Ventoux. We make red and rosé wines for both Gigondas and Ventoux, and maybe a white wine soon. The Domaine de Font-Sane is also advantaged by the rich variety of 5 different terroirs or soil types, which are clay limestone, sand, alluvium, sandy loam, and pebbles. And we are very lucky to have all of our vineyards on these 5 soils of Gigondas. And this is why our Gigondas wines are very complex, enriched by the multiple characteristics that each soil type gives. We have opted for sustainable agriculture with integrated soil management, and in order to better take into account the environment, This practice allows us to take advantage of the plant's natural defenses. We are considering actually conversion to organic farming within the next few years, and so far we use organic compost as fertilizer every year, and to control yield we do budding, leafing and green harvesting, and quantity is always preferred over quantity. The main grape variety is Grenache, about 70%, and it gives full-bodied, rounded wines with fruity and spicy aromas. We also use Syrah, 20 to 25%, which is very aromatic and colorful, and Mourvèdre, about 3%, for the quality of the aromas that develop as they age. And Senso is also grown in our vineyard in small quantities. So for our love for our wine and meticulous work, we are very demanding when it comes to grape harvesting and manual sorting. And actually the date of the harvest is a very important and complicated moment to fix, and requires the highest quality fruit and the best mature tannins. Nestling in the foothills of the Mont Ventoux, the giant of Provence, famous for the Tour de France, are the well-known Ventoux vineyards. Vieilles Vignes is the name of our cuvée, means old vines, because our vineyards are about 50-60 years old. This fruity and medium-bodied wine is the result of a happy combination of Grenache and Syrah. This Ventoux has a beautiful purple color, and the nose is rich and intense, underlined by hints of black currants, pepper, and also floral aromas. This Ventoux has a smooth mouth, rounded with supple tannins, and very silky for an easy drinking wine. And it goes perfectly with red or white meat, pâté and cheese, and you can keep it more than 5 years.
Our very last wine this month is from Domaine Vordy. Domaine Vordy is in Minervois, the appellation Minervois. This is a Losgarles Rouge 2016. Definitely one of the flagship cuvées. Didier Vordy and Thibaut Vordy. Didier is slowly letting his son Thibaut take over. This is the town of Minerve. This is a little fortified city, and you can see many of their vineyards. This is actually one of the vineyards right here that is overlooking the town of Minerve. Didier is also the mayor of Minerve, so he stays very busy. They have lots of old vines. They have some vines that are over 100 years old. Some really well-tended vines where we got, they do very little intervention, just strictly plowing, make sure that the grapes stay healthy. One of the thing is that DTA is allergic to sulfites, so they use extremely low sulfites. They use just as little as they can use at bottling time to kind of stabilize the wine. So very low sulfites on the wine. That's
Bonjour, bienvenue au domaine Vordy. Nous vous accueillons dans notre caveau de vente, situé dans le sud de la France, en Languedoc, au cœur du parc naturel du Haut-Languedoc et à côté du petit village de Minerve, un des plus beaux villages de France. Je vous accueille en compagnie de ma belle-fille, Justine.
Et donc ma belle-mère, Hélène. Donc nous travaillons en agriculture biologique. Nous avons du blanc, du rosé, du rouge. Il y a 9 cuvées en tout.
Donc les cuvées, elles ont toujours un petit côté familial. Nous avons la cuvée Louise, la fille de l'onologue, la cuvée Françoise, ma belle-mère, la cuvée René, nos papas respectifs, la cuvée Alice, ma mère, et puis il y en a une autre, ça c'est les garçons qui vont vous présenter.
Bonjour. Donc maintenant c'est à nous de vous présenter le Gals. Donc moi je suis Thibaut, le fils qui reprend derrière mes parents.
Et moi Didier, le père, le vieux. Donc ce vin est issu de vieux cépages qui sont le Carignan et le Grenache. Ce sont deux cépages qui expriment très bien notre terroir et qui ont toujours prospéré dans notre région. Nous l'avons vinifié en partie à macération carbonique pour le Carignan et une autre partie en égrappé, voilà, pour vraiment exprimer les arômes de Grenache. Tout cela a été levé pendant 15 mois dans les fûts et ensuite mis en bouteille. Mais pour cela, pour la dégustation, je laisse la parole à Thibaut qui va vous le présenter parce que moi je deviens un peu vieux, maintenant c'est lui qui prend la relève.
Il n'a pas faux. Donc, comme mon père a pu vous l'expliquer, on a vraiment cherché à amener dans ce vin-là tout ce qu'on cherchait à avoir dans le Carignan et aussi le Grenache. Donc pour ça, on a utilisé d'abord la macération carbonique qui a permis de relever tous les arômes du Carignan, c'est-à-dire bien faire travailler son tanin et son fruit. Après, on a élevé le vin en cuve. Le vin a du coup maturé et a pris son volume. Et par la suite, on est venu rajouter le Grenache qui lui est venu un petit peu assouplir tout le tour. Puis on a mis ça en fût et ça a donné un vin qui est à la fois très souple avec une bonne complexité, beaucoup de mâche, mais qui malgré tout a un tanin qui va se retrouver derrière très puissant en bouche et qu'on sent de suite à la première mise en bouche. Voilà pour le vin.
Oui, il vous manque une petite indication, loose gals. Pourquoi loose gals? Loose gals, en patois, en vieux français, cela signifie les coqs. Et les coqs, on en a deux.
Je vous les présente, le vieux coq et le jeune coq.
Mais ça donne un joli produit, les Gals, après.
Un vin qui va très bien sur des gâteaux au chocolat.
Mais aussi à servir en apéritif, parce qu'il est très goulayant, très riche. Et pourquoi pas avec une bonne côte de bœuf. En tout cas, on vous dit bon appétit!
All right, well, I hope you enjoyed our selection this month, and we're looking forward to see you next month. Thank you very much for joining me. I'm JP with French Country Wine.